Evening and welcome to the 543rd episode of Travel It Radio. I'm Dan Schlossberg along with Roger Noriega, and we are in the 13th season of Travel It Radio. It's a show that lets you enjoy the pleasures of travel from the comfort of your armchair.
Every week at this time, we talk to people representing destinations, hotels, airlines, railroads, car rental companies, and others in the world of travel and hospitality, from authors and bloggers to broadcasters and publicists. If it's got anything to do with travel, it's got everything to do with Travel Edge Radio.
My guest tonight is Lisa Mayo, who's president and CEO of Visit Tuolumne County in Northern California. Welcome to Travel It Radio.
Thank you both so much for having me.
Well, I love Yosemite National Park, which I've visited several times, and the High Sierra and Gold Country. So Tuolumne County actually offers 3 vacations at once, actually. Please share with our viewers.
Well, thank you. Tuolumne County is situated in such a way that we get to enjoy the California's Gold Country, the High Sierra, and Yosemite, as you mentioned. We have 3 main highways, and each one goes with one of those areas. So if you're coming and you want to go to the Yosemite area, you're going to take Highway 120. And if you're going to go to the High Sierra and experience all the amazing grandeur up there, you're going to take Highway 108. And if you want to experience the gold rush and step back in time a little bit and visit our historic towns, you'll be on Highway 49, also known as the Golden Chain Highway.
Exactly where in California is Tuolumne County, and how do you get there? How close to San Francisco is it?
We're just about 2.5 to 3 hours east of San Francisco. Of course, that all depends on traffic. Sometimes it can be worse than other times. But it's a pretty straight shot headed east from San Francisco and about 2 hours south of Sacramento.
And what does the name Tuolumne mean?
Tuolumne is a Native American name. It's from the Miwok tribe, and it means stone houses or cave dwellers. And it really translates into a word that means digging into the earth and being one with the earth and working the earth.
What do people do there? I assume that depends on the season and the weather. But wouldn't a camera be the first thing potential visitors should pack?
Yes, don't forget your camera. And binoculars are also a great packing item as well, because we have some amazing vistas where you can look across just, the Sierra Nevada or across high country lakes. And if you have your binoculars, you can see what might be lurking over on the other side, whether it might be a deer or rabbit or something like that. But yeah, we have four seasons here. And so, if you're into hiking, that's probably one of the biggest things people come here for. Of course, we always say dress in layers and never go alone. But you can get some really great experiences here on our hiking trails.
And how about sturdy sneakers or hiking shoes? Isn't it fair to say you're a 4 seasons destination with skiing in winter and camping, horseback riding, fishing, even water skiing in summer, not to mention museums, casinos, wineries, and much more?
Yeah, we have all of that. And a lot of things are year round. One of my favorite things that has started in this area and is really popular. Apparently, we have the most per capita in Tuolumne County, but is disc golf too, and that's getting out there in the great outdoors. And some people are really competitive with it; others are not so much. But again, you're getting to walk along in the forest and play disc golf. Our local ski resort provides that in the summertime. We do have an incredible horseback riding. And one of the experiences that I think is really neat that we see here is the high country horseback riding, where you can actually take a pack trip and go out. You can stay overnight. If that's not for you, that sounds a little crazy, you can just go out for the day and come back and stay in a high country cabin next to a river where you can fish in the morning. If you're into golfing, we have golf courses. We do really have a lot. I would say the only thing we don't have is an ocean, and we don't have hot air balloon rides.
We're talking Tuolumne County with Lisa Mayo.
Is summer the best time to visit? Or what about the shoulder seasons like spring when crowds could be smaller and is booking easier to find?
Yeah, we don't do a whole lot of promotion for summer because it does tend to be pretty busy, especially if you're looking to come into Yosemite National Park. There's also a reservation system with Yosemite, and that is it's a temporary system, but it will be in place during the summer. So that's something to think about if you're going to come then. I love the other seasons. I think spring is amazing. Right now, we're actually getting snow. It's April 4th, and we're getting snow at
Wow.
yeah, in the Gold Country here. And so we're sure to have some really incredible waterfalls later this spring and wildflowers. And I just think that's spectacular. The wildflowers have already started in the lower elevations, and all into the summer, into fall, we can see wildflowers as you get higher up in elevation. Fall is amazing. We get all the fall colors. We get to experience all four seasons here. And then, of course, winter brings snowshoeing. You can snowshoe in Yosemite in the amongst the giant sequoias. That's a really great experience for people. We have a sled hill, so if you're not into like walking up your inner tube up the hill and sliding down, it actually the magic carpet will take you up the hill, and you can ride back down on a inner tube. We have all kinds of we have ice skating and of course the downhill skiing and snowboarding.
Wow. I have to tell you, Lisa, that we love trains, and this weekend marks the opening day for Railtown 1897. What is it? Where is it? And does it use steam locomotives that conform to its date?
Great questions. So Railtown 1897 is located, it's a state park and it's located in Jamestown.
Wow.
And Jamestown's one of the first towns you come to when you arrive in Tuolumne County. And they do have both steam and diesel trains at Railtown. And the steam trains, in fact, we were looking just there at Sierra Number Three. Sierra Number Three is very famous. She's been in many, many movies and a lot of even television commercials, various documentaries. Perhaps the most popular movie that she's been in is Back to the Future 3. And so it's a really fun thing to see her up close. Right now, she's taken apart, but there is another steam train that they're using. And so if you're here on the weekends to go for a train ride, usually they go one day they'll use a diesel engine, and another day they'll use the steam engine. So you just want to make sure you check ahead to see which one they're running, just in case you want to be on that steam train.
I had an idea. I was going to ask you whether it was actually the one from Back to the Future, but that is cool to know. April is also the time for Art Week. What
Yes.
is that all about?
Art Week is something that here at Visit Tuolumne County, we started about 4 years ago. And it's just a week where we are celebrating all of the local makers and artists in our area. There are two really large art shows that are going to go on during the month of April, but in particular during that week as well. What we do is we try and match up artists with different venues throughout the area, whether it's a restaurant, a little coffee shop, or the library, or wherever it might be. And if they have work that they can show off there, like photography, or they have paintings, then they'll be hung that week and they can be for sale and that type of thing. And we're just promoting that. Some of our artists like to share their space where they work and how they work. And so there will be some open studio tours. So it's just a neat time to celebrate all the creativity that we have in this area. And it's a lot. 1 week is not enough, quite honestly.
Fair enough. Now, I know you mentioned it's snowing and it is April, but does everything shut down in the winter?
No, things do not shut down, especially if we are having snow. I mean, there are times when
Oh,
like right now we're having snow at this low elevation, so some places will probably just close the doors for the day. But we have a ski resort, and that does bring a lot of people in. It's actually the closest ski resort to the Bay Area, to the San Francisco Bay Area, and it's easy to get here. So many people want to get over to Tahoe, and Tahoe is it's about 3 hours from us, but getting there can be so crazy with the going over the passes. You don't have to go over any mountain passes to get to Dodge Ridge or to our high country snow play. So when that's going, I mean, we have a lot of people coming up here. We have a lot of in December Christmas celebrations and Christmas parade and holidays. So winter is really a fun time, and sometimes we'll have great weather with the sun out, and people will be enjoying Christmas, under a big shiny sun. But other times we'll be having snow like we are today.
Wow, that's awesome. Sounds great. Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned in to Travel Itch Radio now in our 13th season with Dan Schlossberg, yours truly, Roger Noriega. Check us out on iTunes, LinkedIn, Instagram, or the Travel Itch Radio Facebook page, among other places. And a quick announcement to everyone who's watching us, please let us know who you are and where you hail from. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat room right there. We are talking Tuolumne County with Lisa Mayo. Did I get it right? Did I?
You did great. Follow me to Tuolumne.
Oh, I like that. That's cool.
Okay. Lisa, I remember staying in a log cabin in Yosemite and seeing a bear near my front door. Can people still do that?
Yeah, I haven't seen. I've lived here most of my life, and I've only seen a bear twice. One was in Tahoe and one was in Yosemite. But you can see bears in certain times. Of course, they're going to be more prevalent than others. But there's a lot of wildlife around here.
Well, speaking of wildlife, what animals might a human visitor encounter?
Oh gosh, there's so many. We have you might see coyotes, of course, deer. We have a lot of deer. Rabbits, skunks, raccoons, squirrels, bats. We have bats, which are fun to see. And gosh, there's all kinds of animals. I would say that most prevalent in this area would be the deer, and of course, lots of flocks of turkeys, wild turkeys. So.
Okay. Yosemite is incredibly beautiful and romantic, with majestic monolithic mountains and waterfalls everywhere. I love Half Dome and El Capitan, for example. What are your personal highlights?
Oh gosh, in Yosemite itself, and I'm probably partially biased, but in Tuolumne County has about 60% of Yosemite National Park that we encompass, and one of those areas is Hetch Hetchy. And Hetch Hetchy is a reservoir, and it provides most of the drinking water for San Francisco. And when you go there, if you've been to the valley floor, you're going to look at Hetch Hetchy and think you're looking at the valley floor, but with water. It's really interesting how very much alike these two iconic destinations look. But at Hetch Hetchy, you can walk across the dam. You can read all about the history. Incredible how they built that dam back in the day, bringing in all the equipment and all that. It's amazing. And then you walk through a big tunnel. You can go out and do day hikes, overnight hikes from there. There's incredible waterfalls. Wapama Falls is beautiful. So I think that's really a neat place. And we love to tell people, go to the valley floor, check it out, because you got to do that at least once in your life. But if you want to avoid crowds, do that early and then get out of the park and go back into the park into Hetch Hetchy and check that out. It's just a really neat area. There's also Carlin Falls, which is a great hike along the river. And you start out in the forest, in the national forest, and not too far in, there's a little tiny sign, and it says you're now entering Yosemite National Park. And you walk through the fence, and now you're in Yosemite and on your way to Carlin Falls, which is just an incredible hike.
I vaguely remember, because it's been a while since I've been out there, that there was either a waterfall or a firefall where they sing at sunset. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about. There used to be the firefall that out on Glacier Point Road, I believe it was, they would push over burning fire. Burning fire. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
and you can't see I'm talking with my hands, so it's harder to tell you. But they would push over brush that was on fire, and they would yell, firefall, and that would go to the ground. Well, they stopped doing that because it overlooked the area like where the Ahwahnee is, and so they didn't want to continue with that practice. It didn't seem like it was probably a good thing to do. But now what there is, and it sometimes gets confused, is there's the horsetail fall phenomenon. And that happens in February. And that's where the water hits Horsetail Falls just right. It looks like the fire fall. And so there's a lot of photography. So many photographers come out for that event in February. So yeah, you're right. There is that waterfall. And in fact, we have a brand new resort opening on May 1st called Firefall Ranch. Just paying homage to that tradition.
Terrific. I'm glad I brought it up. We're talking Tuolumne County with Lisa Mayo. It's a tongue twister. Roger?
It most definitely is. Didn't the gold rush start in Tuolumne County?
Well, Tuolumne County was a big part of the gold rush. It's said the gold was first discovered by James Marshall, and that was at Sutter's Fort. That was in the Coloma area, which is in El Dorado County. But Sonora did become a part of that gold rush, and it's Sonora, is our only incorporated city, and that's where I'm located right now. And it's known as the Queen of the Southern Mines. And there are a lot of mines throughout this whole area, and people still are looking for gold. They say that there's more gold to be discovered than has ever been taken out. So it's really interesting. It's kind of it's an intriguing piece of history, but also piece of the present.
What role did the Transcontinental Railroad play in putting your county on the map?
Well, I would say that we're looking at Sierra number 3 again at Railtown 1897. And 1897 is when the Golden Spike was put into the railroad there in Tuolumne County. When the train finally was able to come our way, I believe it was 40 years after the Transcontinental Railroad was first being built. Now it's my turn for the tongue twisters. But what it brought the modern age up to Tuolumne County. And from where I sit, of course, I'm thinking, well, this is how, tourism really got started here, was bringing people up to this area that had before maybe been, to Oakdale, which is a cute little town about 40 minutes from us. That's where the train had stopped. But then I could imagine what it must have been like riding that train up and starting to see the rolling foothills and even glimpses into Yosemite. Must have been pretty incredible. So I like to think it might have started the tourism industry here in Tuolumne County.
Wow. I can see that. We know Yellowstone became the first national park in 1872. And piggybacking on your answer, when did it become a tourist destination?
So Yosemite, in 1864, there was the Yosemite Grant, and that set aside the Yosemite Valley, which we're looking at right now, great timing, and the grove of the Mariposa Grove of giant sequoias. So that was then handed over to California for protection. And I would say, I believe it was 1868. Well, the first visitors started coming around 1850s, but John Muir was here in 1868 and really drove the point home about preserving this area. And he really, I think, taught a lot of our country, even maybe the world, about Yosemite and what a special place that it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to Tuolumne County with Lisa Mayo.
Lisa, getting back to the present, what and where do visitors eat? Probably buffalo burgers, I'm sure. Which I love. And we hear there's something called the Craft Burger Trail and the Craft Beverage Trail. Tell us.
All right. Well, we do. We have the Craft Beverage Trail, which was our first official digital trail that we put together, just connecting all of our breweries and our wineries. We don't have nearly as many of those as some places do, but I think we have just the right amount if you want to spend a couple days kind of touring them You can visit the wineries. When you get this little, it's like an app on your phone, and you can check in, and oftentimes they'll have a discount for you. And it's just a neat way to get around the county. We have a huge county, and try our different, like I said, wineries, breweries. We have an incredible hard cider distillery too. And with the leftover product, they make vodka and some other good things as well. It sits amongst this 165 acre organic apple orchard. Incredible place to go. So that's on our craft beverage trail. And we were talking one day, we brainstorm a lot here about next new promotions and things like that. And we started talking about these trails and how every place in this county, even if it's a Mexican restaurant, they're going to have a burger. So we need to have a burger trail. So that's kind of how the burger trail came to be. And we're adding to it all the time. It's a fun way to include our local restaurants into the promotions and what we're doing. So there's a lot of great restaurants here. We have all kinds of ethnic food as well. Lots of celebrations. I would say barbecue is big. A lot of, the weekend barbecuers out there in the parking lots, and you can buy a tri-tip sandwich and chips for, $8 or so, and have a great meal that way too. Or you can go to a really great restaurant and sit down and have a totally catered meal. So.
And you have a couple of new hotels coming to Tuolumne County this summer that have interesting names. You mentioned Firefall Ranch. How about Chicken Ranch Casino Resort? Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Yeah. Chicken Ranch Casino is owned and operated by the Miwok Indians. And it's been for a long time, Chicken Ranch was a bingo hall, basically. And then they started expanding more into the casino and having table games and slot machines and restaurant and that type of thing. And this last year, they just started a massive expansion. And it's a 9-story building that's going to have the casino and a rooftop pool and bar, 199 lodging rooms in it. I think that includes around 19 or 20 suites and lots of space for meetings. So that is something that's a really exciting addition to our area. And again, this is in Jamestown. So when you're just coming into the county, it's pretty much the first thing you're going to see when you come in. And I will say from that place, you have views into Yosemite, into what we call the Yosemite Alps, that range of mountains, and it's pretty incredible. And then we have Firefall Ranch, which I spoke about a little bit earlier, and that's going to be on Highway 120 heading toward Yosemite. And it is 55 villas and cottages that are set among about 300 acres. So a lot of room for people to roam around and kind of feel like, they have the place a little bit to themselves on 300 acres. It's incredible. We're looking forward. My team and I are going to go and, do a site visit very soon. So we're excited about that.
You also have lesser known, perhaps undiscovered attractions in Tuolumne County that are worth finding. I'm thinking of Columbia State Historic Park, Sierra Repertory Theater, and Indigene Reserve Cider and Spirits, for starters.
Yes, those are all three great examples of some of those hidden gems. Columbia State Historic Park is incredible. It's going to be your best collection of 1850s buildings, of Gold Rush history. The town, it's an actual working town. It's the streets are closed, but like a lot of school groups come through there to learn about the Gold Rush. A lot of fourth graders come through, but even in town, we have great theater. We have, there's ice cream parlor, leather stores. You're going to have candle makers, all kinds of great things to do right there in Columbia, including a historic schoolhouse. And that in and of itself is another hidden gem because it's on a separate hill, a little bit away from the town, but it's just a neat spot to go to. That's wonderful. Indigene Reserve, again, that 165 acre distillery, but hard cider distillery. And their product that they come out with there is absolutely amazing. All kinds of different ciders that they put out, blackberry, organic. Sometimes they'll have like a pumpkin one in the fall. So it's really great. And their story is amazing. And then the theater, our theater is incredible. It's Sierra Repertory Theater. They have two different theaters, one in Columbia State Park, the Fallon House, and one in Sonora, which has been newly expanded as well. And I'll tell you what, I've seen a lot of shows on Broadway, and these are comparable. I'm not going to lie. And people are always so surprised when they come and see the quality of our theater. It really is incredible. They bring actors in from San Francisco, from New York, from LA, and they have a housing program where they stay with local families. And it's just it's such a huge asset to Tuolumne County, and it really rounds out our offerings.
Okay, you've got to explain this.
The tree.
The tree. Where is it? Can you actually drive a car through it?
You cannot drive a car through this one, but this is the tree that is on the Tuolumne Grove of giant sequoias, just inside Yosemite National Park. So you can hike down to this tree, and the trail continues on. But yeah, it's a pretty cool spot. A lot of selfies are taken here. In this time of year, in winter, you can snowshoe down there. It's pretty cool to see up close and personal.
Okay, I just had to ask about that. And assuming peak season is Memorial Day to Labor Day, and we're now in the first week of April, should potential visitors book now, even thinking about next year maybe?
Yeah, I think, especially if you're thinking summertime, I think booking now is great. This area is getting more and more popular. And again, with Yosemite, I really encourage people to go to the National Park website to get their reservations in case they're coming on a day when reservations are required. I would be happy to tell you when that is, but it's all over the board and what time of day you're coming in and all these things. So going to the site, nps.gov, is going to be a lot better. So for sure on that, but people can also reach out to us. They can book right from our website. But we're happy to help out if people are looking for a place to stay and things to do. We're here to help lead the way or guide them however they need.
And we are talking Tuolumne County with Lisa Mayo.
Seeing all this imagery, it's, living in such a gorgeous place, you might not want to leave. But if you do, and if you did, where would you go on vacation? Somewhere else in California, in the US, or maybe even overseas?
Oh my goodness, it's really timely that you asked, because I'm headed out on vacation on Sunday.
Good for you. No, I didn't. Good for
Me
you.
too.
I am actually headed to Kauai. So
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Say hello to McGarrett.
Yeah. So it'll be a nice change. As I mentioned, we don't have the ocean here, so I'll get to visit the ocean for a while.
And the ocean will be all around you. Yeah.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
That is cool. Do you have any other places that you may want to go? Not trying to be repetitious in any way, but I know Hawaii. Is there another place on the bucket list agenda? Anything like that?
Oh gosh, my husband and I, we have so many places we want to go. And I think one of the things we want to do is we want to do the Mississippi Riverboat cruise. We think that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I've done that
Read a little. Have you done that? Yeah.
several times.
That looks pretty awesome. We thought we'd read Mark Twain first and then go do that. Overseas, I spent some time in New Zealand. I would love to get back there and introduce my husband to New Zealand. We enjoyed Ireland so much. Would love to do that again and add Scotland. There's so many places I'd love to go.
Yes. And now, along those lines, our viewers always like to learn more about our guests, and we did a bit. So please share where you were born, raised, and schooled, and how you got into the travel hospitality world, and specifically how and when you came to Tuolumne County.
All right. Well, I was born in San Jose, California, which is just south of San Francisco. And my family moved to Tuolumne County, actually to Columbia, when I was 8 years old. And so I had the fortune of growing up here and working in Columbia State Park at the Fallon House ice cream parlor. That was my first job. I grew up, went away to school, to Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo on the coast of California. And then I ended up coming back to Calaveras County, which is the county to the north. I worked at a golf course, some wineries, and I had a friend who well, she was my boss at the time, and she's a friend now, but she hired me, and then she left one place, and then she hired me that place, and she was on the board for the Calaveras Visitors Bureau and said, hey, this opportunity's come up. You need to do this. I had no clue what I was doing, but I got the job. And at 30 years old, I jumped in and started promoting Calaveras, and then met my husband. He lived in Tuolumne County. I could still work in Calaveras, but when the Tuolumne County job came up, I took it, and that's how I came to be here. And I've been here for 12 years.
Wow, that is cool. Is there anything we have not asked you that you would like to add?
There was just one little thing I was going to mention, and I say little, but it's Cinco de Mayo. One of the really cool things that most people don't know is that Cinco de Mayo actually started because there was a battle in Puebla, Mexico.
Yes.
And in 1862, the French came in thinking they were going to attack and secure the land from the Mexicans, but the Mexicans surprised them, the Mexican army, and they defeated the French. Again, this was in 1862. Word of this coming from Puebla came to Colombia, to the Mexican miners who were here trying to find gold, but they heard of this great victory and they celebrated. And so Colombia and Columbia State Park is the birthplace of Cinco de Mayo. And we have now a huge celebration every year celebrating that victory.
Thank you for sharing that. It is a big deal, and it's only in California. It is. And I myself did not know. I knew when everything you said, I knew that. It was really cool. I'm glad you cleared even that up for me. Hey, look, folks, sorry, Lisa, how do Travel Itch Radio viewers learn more about Tuolumne County?
I think the best way is going to our website, and instead of spelling Tuolumne, I'll just say visit tctoday.com. How's that?
That works.
Awesome.
Many thanks to Lisa Mayo for hosting our virtual visit to gorgeous Tuolumne County. I can promise you I will never forget spending time there. It's a bit of heaven on earth no matter when you go. Thanks, Lisa, for being our guest tonight on Travel Itch Radio.
Thank you both so much.
And now that baseball season has started, it's prime time to place an advance order with Amazon for my new book, Home Run King, The Remarkable Record of Hank Aaron. Dusty Baker wrote the foreword. And let's not forget, this coming Monday, April 8th, is the 50th anniversary of Hank Aaron breaking the biggest record in sports, Babe Ruth's 714 home runs. And that's it for this edition of Travel Itch Radio. Now, this is Dan Schlossberg, along with my friend, producer, co-host Roger Noriega, saying thank you for your time this time until next time. Next week, same time, same place, no joke. We'll talk to Gary Hahn of the National Comedy Museum. For now, good night and stay safe.